The YSL RICO case just took a drastic turn for the worse. The prosecutors are now forced to bring out their best evidence against Young Thug, all due to Thug's lawyers. As for the last 2 weeks, Young Thug's lawyers has torn apart all of the prosecution's evidence. The state's best investigator against Young Thug has been following Thug and YSL for 10 years. But Thug's lawyer Brian Steele had a hunch that this guy, he wasn't even investigating anything. So he would expose his lack of research in front of everyone, including the judge.
Okay. Now, I'm assuming, I don't want to assume, you went through that entire Tumblr account to educate yourself for your testimony for the jurors. Am I correct?
No, sir. This is the only post from this Tumblr account that I've reviewed.
You didn't look at all of Mr. Williams' Tumblr account?
No, sir.
How do you know to review this one picture?
Well, when the state asked me to review these particular tweets, this is one that was linked within one of the tweets I was asked to review, and I was asked to review this post from that link.
You weren't curious to know what else is on that Tumblr account?
I was not, no.
Well, since you come back, I'm inviting you to look at it if you want to, but every one of those posts has to do with music. Do you realize that?
Objection, hearsay.
It's not hearsay.
As this is only the start of the reason why the prosecutors had to bring out their new and best evidence yet. It's all because of Brian Steele standing on business and telling their 10-year veteran investigator to go home, go do more research on Young Thug, and come back with an answer.
Do you know, as you sit here, what all the other Tumblr posts deal with?
Objection.
Basis.
It would be speculation because he said he has not reviewed.
I sustain the objection.
You do me a favor. If you come back, which I'll call you if you need, I want you to review all that Tumblr, okay?
Sure.
Account. And then you tell the jurors everything else that's on that Tumblr account, okay?
Sure.
And tell them if it has anything other than music-oriented promotion, okay?
Well, I would say even this photo has more than just music promotion.
That's great.
As Thug's lawyer Brian Steele made an absolute embarrassment of the entire police department, embarrassing their main investigator of 10 years for not even doing his job of investigating. Then after a report of, and I quote, expect YSL rapper Young Thug's lawyer to push for a mistrial shortly, his lawyers have an edge on the prosecution which could lead to a strong case for a mistrial. Now the state and prosecutor knew that they had to make a move, so today they would drop the hardest evidence currently against Young Thug. It all begins in a report of, and I quote, Young Thug was named as an alleged firearm man in the 2013 incident during a 911 call as played during the YSL RICO trial today.
Okay, so who is... I have no idea, babe. I promise I can't tell y'all that. I don't know. All that I know, she came to my house and told me that the guy that shot my name Young Thug, what it's supposed to be. Somebody named the guy is in her house. So I don't know how y'all can do that. I'm trying to go out the house, but you want the phone now. Okay, all right.
As online lawyers are revealing that the feds, they had no choice but to release this evidence early. This evidence wasn't even supposed to come out for another month, but the jury was likely taking Young Thug's side with a non-guilty verdict due to Thug's lawyer lately. Because Young Thug's lawyer somehow even defended a YSL snitch who took a plea deal against Young Thug and made it look good for Young Thug. Now this is almost impossible to do in a court setting, but he did it. As Trontavia Stevens, otherwise known as the YSL snitch, gave the definition of the word slime just 3 weeks ago.
Word slime, what does it mean?
Good question. That's a good question. So, the S is for slum, the L is for love, the I is for I, the M is for me, and the E for everything.
That is the only thing that slime meant to you when you had a tattoo put in your body.
Yes, ma'am, that's what it means to, that's what that tattoo means to me.
Is slime ever used in any other kind of way? As by you or any of the people that
like breaking it down? Like breaking it down how I did?
No, like the meaning of the word slime.
Yeah, no, it's slime.
as the 10-year veteran investigator on the stand said that what Trontavia said was a lie, and that is not what the word slime means to YSL members. However, Young Thug's lawyer was ready, and he played a song that was released 6 years ago inside of the courtroom. In the lyrics of this song, it says the exact same thing Trontavia said about slime. So Brian Steele would go on to expose and embarrass him again, asking if he even did a simple Google search.
Did you hear that, Detective?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. Now, when you gave your testimony yesterday about you've never heard anyone describe slime in the way you just heard on Mr. Williams number 142, did you ever do a Google search?
No, I did not.
Did you know that question was coming?
No, sir.
You had no idea that the state was going to ask you that question?
No, I thought you meant your question.
No. Yesterday on direct exam, you knew that question was coming, right?
I did. I knew the state was going to ask me what slime meant, yes.
And did you do anything in preparation to say, I want to make sure my testimony is accurate?
I did.
But you never bothered to Google music?
This would go on to go viral on social media because if you know how to use Google and know how to search things, you are just as good as investigating as this 10-year veteran. But things would get even crazier from here, as it all begins with rappers reacting to Young Thug's case. However, their reactions were causing their names to go viral, which then made law officials look into these guys and investigate all of the rappers, because it would be reported, and I quote, the state's team expert in the Young Thug trial interrupted Thug's lawyer to tell the jury that the album cover for his collab tape with Future, titled Super Slimy, was meant to taunt rival street teams. But in reality, the album cover just shows the symbols of the labels YSL and FBG.
I'm sorry to interrupt, Mr. Steele. To the extent that you're asking for context of these, I do have additional context that may be helpful as far as these particular tweets.
Okay.
So the tweet on the left-hand side, so we pull that back up. So this particular image was of note to myself and other investigators, particularly during this time period. Their rival ABG has a hawk logo that they use on their own clothing and identifiers. As you can see on the cover of this, there's a hawk skull with a snake, the symbol for YSL, climbing through the eyes of this skull of a hawk.
Now, this made many reporters make statements telling all rappers outside of this case to stop mentioning Young Thug's name so then they don't get investigated. But this actually outraged many rappers, so several of them would call Brian Steele, giving him their blessings to use their rap names and music in the courtroom to help Young Thug. As Thug's lawyer, Brian Steele, would then go down a line shouting out all of the rappers and their songs that all replace the letter C with the letter B, as the prosecutors claim that Young Thug doesn't use the letter C in his music because he's a part of the Red Street team.
Post Malone, do you know who Post Malone is?
I know who he is.
Have you heard him do that?
I have not.
Okay. Meek Mill, you know who that artist is?
I do.
Have you know that?
No, sir.
Are you familiar with the song Jumped Out the Face by Meek Mill?
I'm not.
And Post Malone, you are familiar with the song?
No.
Are you familiar with Juice WRLD?
I know who he is.
Are you familiar with, instead of cooling, booling, B-O-O-L-I-N? Are you familiar with that song?
I'm not.
Okay. Trippie Redd, you know who that is?
I know of him.
And do you know the song Bust Down, again, booling rather than cooling? YWN Melly, you know that rapper?
I do.
The song Till the End?
I don't.
Future, you know who that is?
I do.
Absolutely going brazy, you know that?
With him stating this in front of the jury, it shows them that you don't need to be a part of the Red Street team to avoid using the letter C in your song titles and songs. It's more of a style of music that hooks a viewer's attention to the music. But Lil Wayne didn't get so lucky. He would end up getting singled out, as the prosecutors would then ask the officer on the stand about Lil Wayne's affiliation, including his tattoos.
And are you familiar with who this individual is?
I am.
And who is that?
It's Dwayne Carter.
Okay. And does he have another name that he goes by?
He does.
What is that?
Lil Wayne.
And are you aware, through any of your non-trained experience, if Mr. Carter, Dwayne Carter, self-identifies as a member of?
I believe that he does.
Okay. tell the jury if you need to stand with the stick and point to what those identifiers are within Defense Exhibit 31.
There's a large MOB across his chest, often used particularly by West Coast, but is used across the country. He has 5 red 5-point stars across his chest.
As while they were on the topic of Lil Wayne, we would then see another rapper get involved, being none other than YNW Melly, as the two rappers were involved in a Facebook post together several years ago.
Same thing, the use of the slap term, 5-point star, snake. He's saying he's YSL, he's hanging with Young Thug, and he puts up his YNW for life hashtag on it with the 5-point star as well. Mr. Demons has the big B hand signs displayed.
Okay, and see with individuals again, I'm assuming that's also Young Thug. That's also unknown.
Yes.
Also important to your investigation, correct?
Yes.
Also publicly available for anyone to see and capture.
This would end up raising a lot of red flags, as it would reveal that Melly's team YNW has street ties connected to Young Thug's team YSL, as we would even see Bryson Paul tweet Detective Danny Polo on what slat means. Slat means sliming up all the time, and it came out of the YSL language. The Reds started copying it. YSL, the team, is made up of Reds, and in the picture, Melly is with Young Thug, who is currently on trial for RICO. The YSL team is throwing up the red signs. Now, prosecutors are starting to believe that YSL is connected to YNW. And on top of that evidence, the prosecutors, they really only have other small evidence now against Thug, as they have this old video of Young Thug recording a music video several years ago.
Did you see Mr. Williams putting up any identifying signs within that first few seconds of the video?
I did.
And what was he doing?
He was throwing the B's again, the 2 guns, and he also threw a 5-point star.
In that particular portion at 1:30, do you see Mr. Williams throwing up any?
I did.
And what did he throw up?
He threw up the 2 guns again.
Nobody.
Now, why this is so important is because of the crimes that Young Thug was allegedly a part of was at the exact same year that that music video was recorded. But they also showcased several music videos from Young Thug throwing up teams' hand signs, as an officer would then reveal even more evidence of Young Thug being a part of a street team, confirming there are several videos of him self-snitching on social media, which will make him no longer get released from jail.
Now, have you had the occasion to view any videos with Mr. Williams in which he either himself self-identifies or associates himself either as a member of Rock Crew and or a member of YSL?
I have.
How many videos have you seen?
I don't know the exact number, but a few.
Okay. For the purposes of this testimony today, have you seen 3 specific videos as it relates to this testimony today?
I have.